Turning back to the black shutters, the windows as dark as lake water, I felt a fear I could barely name. For the first time in my life, I was afraid of my own mind. My mother died when I was 10, and never, not once, not even in my dreams, had I ever forgotten. My mother's death was like a badge I wore, forever pinned to my chest. I blinked. The reality of my life fell back into focus. The loneliness inside that house, the empty rooms behind the windows, the dark glass reflecting the falling snow, the evergreen branches closing in like a gate. The heat would be set low for the workday, my father's office deserted and still. No fire in the small wood stove, no one sitting at his desk, no books opened to the previous night's page. The large upstairs bedroom my mother and father once shared, abandoned. Even my stepmother wouldn't sleep there alone. After my father's death, Beth moved into the tiny guest room my mother had painted her favorite shade of pale blue. There was a zigzag pattern in the snow. That was the print on his soles. Those were his favorite boots. He had bought them in Vermont in grad school and still wore them every winter. But I was too old for this, too smart to let myself ever be fooled by signs or miracles or look-alikes. The boots must have belonged to the mailman, the furnace repairman, a college kid working for Greenpeace. That this person wore the same brand was just a cruel coincidence. I took a step backward, then another and another, moving away from the house. Fear was a cold feeling. This was a safe town. We hardly ever locked our house or car. Sometimes police were called for an overly noisy frat party or a lost dog wandering the streets, but that was it. I told myself this as I hurried up the slope to the sidewalk. The afternoon was growing dim, the white sky turning gray. The lights of the passing cars glowed through the snowflakes. I stood on the roadside in what I assumed was the safety of being visible to the slow-moving cars. From the top of the slope, I kept my eyes on the vanishing trail. I saw the route now. He had come from the woods and walked to our front door before returning around to the side of our house across the yard to the shed, where the trail ended. There was an arch pattern that would have only resulted from the door being opened, meaning someone was hiding inside the shed. But why? There was nothing that a thief would want. The shed was full of my father's old encyclopedias, a large wooden desk made from 2x4s, and a wooden chair. He used to work there in the spring and summer. The windows looked out to the narrow creek, the maple trees. My dad never brought his computer into the shed, just his books and a thermos of tea. He scoured rare travel diaries and out-of-print history texts, studied landscape and waterways and topography. He read about nomads, exotic expeditions, import and export shipping. He told me the best way to learn how people think is through the routes they take. The art of map-making was not just in precision and measurements, but in the ways we negotiate the climate and texture of the land around us. There was only one thing of value inside. Between the two windows of the wide plank wooden boards hung a framed lithograph of the Piri Reis map, like a favorite painting.